pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call meeting in order. With that, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for July 9th.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I reviewed the minutes and I'll make a motion to approve the June 25th minutes.
And I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's 10, please.
I had a quiet week for once,
Good.
but I'm gonna pay for it next week.
And same with me, but it fires up tomorrow.
The only thing I had was talking to the other counties north and south about Port Authority, and I sent the resolution. There's some grant opportunities. There's no cost to the county. It's in conjunction with the Scott County, Muscatine County, Clinton County, Des Moines County, Lee County. Lee County's already at Port Authority, but everybody north.
Yeah.
But it gives us the possibility of grant opportunities down the road at no cost to the county. So I sent that to Sling, and Sling's gonna send it to Adam to review. And maybe get that on the agenda though. Okay.
And the guy spearheading that from Upper Mississippi, he was the colonel at Rock Island during the '08 flood, so he's very familiar with it.
And he said it's great for the counties along that for their federal money coming in to stuff for opportunities. So,
Right, it comes around about every 3 to 5 years.
so
It's Muscatine used it to do their waterfront a few, like 3 to 5 years ago.
Okay, public input. Yeah, just it was on. Somebody's not on, no, we're on.
You guys, someone broke the camera, Sean, pointed at you.
Okay, the public input. Nope. Okay, payroll changes, I sent one out.
I don't have it.
Well, I handed it over to you. No, I didn't. Bottom bottom. Which it was in last week's payroll change.
Yeah, and she wanted it rescinded.
Yep.
Okay.
Morning, Adam. You're next, get you.
Morning.
So I was asked to look at the procedure for increasing the membership of the Board of Supervisors from 3 to 5. I did that, and the statute says that the board can adopt a resolution, or the public, the electors, can circulate a petition, place the question on the ballot to increase from 3 to 5. If that passes, the next general election ballot would include 2 additional supervisor positions, 1 for each class. So one would be a 2-year term to match up with the others that had 2 years left, and then one would be a 4-year term. If there was no decrease in current salary benefits, it would cost the county approximately another $100,000.
Would there be a way of making the county split into wards so that we could get representation from the north half as well as the south half?
Yes, so currently the county has what we call Plan 1 or Plan A, and that is at-large supervisor seats. The board can change that to districts. That's a different sort of section. You have to look in the procedural that actually did bring that. That can be changed by the board or by special election. To create. Plan 2.
I mean, it would make sense to me if you're gonna go to a 5-member board to have 2 from the north, 2 from the south, and then 1 at large. That would be a 2-year term.
Muscatine does it that way.
That would make the most sense to me.
Is there has to be so many signatures to put this?
Yeah, and it's based on the number of votes cast in the last election, so I don't have that information for you. I'd have to run the formula through the numbers from the auditor for the last election.
So we'd have to have a signature petition and then move forward from that.
No, there are 2 ways. One is for the citizens to get a petition together with those signatures on it. The second way is for the board to pass a resolution.
Can I voice an opinion?
Sure.
I strongly am against this. Particularly just for the reason that all of our departments had to cut a person. And you want to add 2 to your board,
We don't.
but I'm just saying,
We're.
I'm just saying.
Public has asked us
that
to
would
look
be-
into.
That will very much upset every department in this county. Because you made all of us cut staff due to budget, and then we want to increase the supervisor's budget by $100,000 to add 2 more members. That to me seems unfair. I just wanted to voice my, I just wanted to
But
put that out there.
this came from public input, where
Okay, just wanted
did not come
to
from.
get that input in there as well.
I'd like to voice opinion too here. I want to echo what she just said because it is a cost factor. And I really think it ought to be put on the back burner because 2/3 of this board is gonna be gone this fall. So you're gonna make a decision for a new board to add 2 more people, which it should be up to them. Whoever the new board is, and decide whether they need it. And most times when you add jobs or you what positions, you put out your job. What your job is and what it does. I don't see where 2 more is needed because none of you had any meetings this week. This is the only time you meet because you can't meet in public. First day, I'm just listening to what you guys said at the other meeting that you can't get together. I had a misspoke.
You said.
I'm sorry, let me apologize. Let me back up and apologize. But I know you're busy sometimes, but other times it's justified to 2 more for the cost. And what you compare us to Muscatine and the way they do it. Muscatine's got more than 1 stoplight in their county. They got a lot of factories. This is a sleepover county. We don't have businesses. Very few. So there's a lot of things that look, but I really think that this board should be making a decision for something that's gonna happen 3 or 4 months down the road for another board to contend with. Let them make that decision. 2/3 is gonna be gone.
But we can't stop the public from,
No, you can come in and talk about it.
well, no, circulating a petition and getting it on the ballot. We can't. Let it be public
If someone
doing what
wants to do
they,
that,
if they wanna change, that's the way they should do it.
What are the deadlines to get all that on a ballot? Because I know there's deadlines involved.
Yeah, I mean, there's no deadline to do it because it just would push it to the next ballot then. I don't know, it's not in the statute what the deadline is. I have to, it would be the normal, yeah, probably the normal
Talk
deadline.
to election gal.
At
It could
minimum a
not be
month
put on the
prior.
November election. There's not enough
Time now.
time.
The next one, anyway.
What
Absentee voting starts.
I think the board can say this with the job description. I mean, I don't know what your job really is other than sitting here at one meeting. And you do have meetings at other meetings, but do you really put in? I don't know what you make of it. You're 40,000, your insurance paid for. I don't know what you do, so I can't really.
Right
say
at
what the
30,000
cost
what we
factor is.
make, insurance is paid for. It is, there's some advantages, but I agree with smaller county, but it's not up to me to make that decision, it's up to the public, but. The biggest thing is more than one can talk together on something coming up. Now, anything.
Why, I mean, what makes the difference whether you have 3 or 5 if
You
one
would-
can
Well,
talk?
first of all, you would be surprised at how much
Yeah, but I mean.
outside work is done. This little meeting that we have every Tuesday is a microcosm of what you need to go to and the meetings you have to attend and all the boards that you're on. It's pretty crazy.
But it's
You have
why
to
you
do
run
your
for this
office.
position, isn't it?
Well, I'm not arguing that point.
Represent the county.
I'm just responding to what you're seeing here is this Tuesday for a half an hour, an hour.
I think the average person knows, and I look at me as an average person, that knows what the job description really is. You know, insurance is a big thing. I don't know why. Did you take county insurance? I mean, see, you got the same insurance I do on at GPC. Really? Well, you got hopes.
I would think that the other part of it is, with a 3-member board, two people can kind of go off and vote and make things happen. When you have 5-member board, you have to have a little bit more discussion on certain matters. And you can't, I guess, quote unquote, ramrod things through that you can on a 3-member board.
Well, I don't know if that's so much a problem when you got the public. You gotta still deal with the public. I mean, you gotta pass it through the public, you gotta get it okay. If you're
If
not,
the public's aware of it.
but that's costing you a lot of money just so you can have.
I'm not arguing the point.
Well,
I'm just telling
after
you.
Had layoffs and no hiring, you got a hiring freeze
Mhm.
going on, but all of a sudden, bam, we wanna add 2 more people to a 3-man board. I'm having a hard time with this. I'm a taxpayer. And tell me my taxes isn't going up. No,
I'm a taxpayer too, and I'm a tax.
yeah, so this is, to me, just another addition to the county that we really don't need, again.
So can I address the board?
Sure.
The reason I brought this up is the Louisa County has not seen any growth whatsoever. And we've done a lot of homework in terms of watching other counties. Rural Iowa in trouble, we all know that. But there are counties that have actually increased population since 2000. And you don't have to look very far. We border one of them, and that's Washington County. Washington County does have 5 supervisors. Brad, how many hours a week do you spend going to meetings?
20-25.
Chris?
So I'm gonna, not quite that much, but very.
Okay.
I'm 25 or 30.
We're
So
fine.
how much time have you guys had to maybe pick up the phone call or pick up the phone and make an appointment with Debbie Durham to see what's out there for us to grow Louisa County? You don't have time for that, do you? And the only way to do that is to spread the workload out and start changing the focus from lowering cost. I mean, you got 2 choices. You can either become more efficient and lower cost, or you can grow the tax base. And if Louisa County is going to succeed and remain independent in the future, we've got to figure out how to grow the tax base. And that's why I brought this up. So I did a lot of work. The cost of adding 2 more supervisors, and I used 70,000, sorry, Adam, I forgot to add the insurance. But if you look at that as a percent of the net position that came off the Louisa County 2023 audit, it's 0.13% increase. If I do that same thing on county assets, it's 11% or 0.11%. So it's a very small increment in terms of what you guys are managing. And you know, I looked at a host of different websites. Louisa County dropped from 67th in the state in population. We're now 71st. When I went back to 2018 and I looked at all of the audits that were done in Louisa County. And we haven't made any progress in any of those, whether that's material weaknesses and adjustments or segregation of duties. And again, I think if we had more time to focus on those things, that would be beneficial. A lot of these counties have tax abatements, and there's money out there for urban renewal and economic development. You guys don't have time to go chasing that down because you're too busy running around to all these meetings. Data from the Federal Reserve of St. Louis, Louisa County, 2022 we were at $52,939 per worker. And that was up from 51,581. Washington County jumped from 71,321 in 2021 to $78,929 in 1 year. And I don't need to keep harping on Washington County, but they're doing some really good things over there. I challenge everybody to go out and look at Washington County's website. The first thing that you see, transparency, increasing accountability. And then it goes down, the next thing that you're gonna see is public meetings. You hit a button and poof, all those public meetings are there. There's just a whole host of things that we could be doing better if we had time. Mitchell County, I want to pick on them a little bit because they're right below us, I believe, in terms of population. They have a median home value of $120,000. They have an effective property tax rate of 1.3%. They have 5 members on the board of supervisors. Louisa County has a median home value of $107,900, and our taxes are 1.47%. So we want to grow the county, but it's hard to do that if we have to keep taxing. We've got to focus on growth. When you look at and divide the tax levies, and this would include the utilities, and this came from ISAC, so it's Louisa County has $6,126,146 on a population of estimate of 10,700. That's $572 per person. Mitchell County dropped to 536, and Washington County dropped to 523. So I refuse the argument that 5 supervisors is going to break our budget. The board should be looking at total taxation per capita. We should be looking at transactions per employee in the county offices, cost per mile on secondary roads. And then the other thing that I learned, I looked at a lot of different counties, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but I think Louisa County has hired the worst auditing firm that you could find. There are other auditing firms out there that give you a report, and it's so simple to see where they need to focus. And they do it, and they're making progress. So I just think that we're in a situation where we can't afford not to make investments in growth and tax base.
I think that you brought up some good points. There are arguments could be made on both sides on that one. Just by simply adding 5 members to the board doesn't guarantee that would work, because you're gonna have to have supervisors that are active and want to push it forward. If you're just gonna get 5 people up here that just want to have a meeting every Tuesday morning and not want to do anything, nothing will change. And it also I feel comes down to what came first, the chicken or the egg? Do we add 5 supervisors and work to grow it, or do we grow it and then add 5? It's difficult to look at that.
Well, I thought about that, Sean, and the only way that I can see to free up the time of the supervisors is, instead of you guys going to all those meetings, spending your time, your travel, you get those people to come to you. And that should free up some time to work on economic development. But, let's be honest, with what you're getting paid, it's a part-time position. And somebody's got to figure out, how to stimulate some economic development.
One of the key ones, I think, will be to get this highway finished. That will definitely help transportation through the county. And then we got to look at making development areas off that highway, wherever that happens to be.
We shouldn't be waiting until it's done. We should be working on that now.
We are.
I'm just saying that a lot of emphasis.
Yeah, I'm on the Walpole development board, and we're trying to develop this area and corridor. And I'm on Highway 61 Coalition, which are trying to bring businesses in. So we are doing it behind the scenes.
What about the Louisa development?
Yeah.
Where are they at?
Don't have a director.
Don't have a director. Well, they do have a director, but I don't know. I'm not involved in the meetings anymore, but we're involved in trying to grow this county every day. Personally too, all of us have businesses that try to grow this county in this area. So a lot of it's working behind the scenes. I don't wanna make it sound like we don't care. We are.
No, I know you care, you wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
What's your biggest holdup on that? I mean, what's your biggest stop? Where's the roadblock at? We don't have businesses, we don't even have a grocery store, we support, support from the community. Support from businesses.
Yeah, cause it's, by losing, by going around town, it's gonna change the view of what we have. It's declining now with 7,000 cars driving through town. Wait till you take the 7,000 cars out of town. It's tough, and what's tough is when interest rates are approaching 10% for commercial loans. Nobody has extra monies left over because gas and everything else is higher. It's hard for small businesses to survive in the area, and it's hard to sell somebody when you're having a hard time yourself making it in this community, because it's tough. Owning a business on the side, but we all three do, it's tough to make it in the small business in the small community. You're doing it because of the love of the community, not because of the money, because you have to really work at it.
But Brad, I'll argue with it all day long. We can all come up with these excuses.
It's not.
But
If you wanna look at my tax.
no, I don't need to. I pay tax too.
I do too.
And at the end of the day, instead of coming up with all these reasons why we can't do it, let's put that same energy into what we can do.
There's not one word that came out of my mouth, so I can't.
I'm just expanding on your comment.
But we have to work all together. It's not, I don't know if you have 10 supervisors up here, it's gonna have to be the whole community and everybody behind you to make this succeed.
Sean brought up the point, nothing will change just by sheer numbers, and he's absolutely right. But when I sat back and, I was in business for years and years and years, if you enter a meeting and you don't come up with something that you did to make an improvement, to become more efficient, or to do something for your customers,
Right.
then there's something wrong. And I think that, every meeting within county government ought to start with, what do we do for economic development this week or this month, or however often people meet? What do we do to improve services? What do we do to become more efficient? And I'm not saying that we aren't efficient. I'm not saying any of those things. But what I'm saying is we got to put some focus on being better, or we're going to continue to go down, and Washington County is going to continue to go up.
Yeah.
I'll check into the Wise Development Group and see where they're at on their memberships and meetings and see what they can do. I'll let you know.
One thing Vicky brought up was losing employees. Well, I don't see any money for raises coming up. I mean, they want raises too, and we need to be looking into that extra money there next year. So.
In some of the other counties, their supervisors considered full-time position.
Yes.
Some are, some aren't, depending on the county
A lot of
size.
their wages are,
I mean, yeah,
three times
Yeah,
their
right.
range, and they're considered full-time.
Lynn County,
Yeah.
You can go to some
Yeah.
counties, but it's 6-figure. salary.
Yeah.
I think Lynn County's 130.
I would think you'd wanna put in a full-time effort there.
Right, well,
Some counties, the supervisors, there's a board member here in the office every morning all week long just to hear public input. Or something like, I think that
Lynn County
would,
still does it.
well, and Keokuk County still does, but I think it'd be,
Just
the phone with phones and stuff, I don't think that'd be a.
Mitchell County had 5, and their salary was just right at 39,000.
That'd be right, strange.
Yeah.
Well, back to the issue, mine is, I think the public spoke, and I think they need to get their petition up. And bring it. For everybody in Louisa County to decide, not just 3 people here. I mean, I agree.
And I'm not saying
I
that
make
to be done
decisions
now, but
every day, but I
be
don't
done
wanna
in the
make
near
that.
future.
I did run into an attorney general's opinion while I was researching this, and this was put forward in a petition in Des Moines County some years ago, and the county attorney there requested an opinion of the attorney general on the legality of the petition, because the petition in Des Moines County was to increase from 3 to 5 to reduce the salaries and status of the supervisors from full-time to part-time with a decrease in salary to eliminate their county insurance. And the Attorney General's opinion was that petition was the correct route for increasing from 3 to 5, but the petition could not contain salary reductions or change of status from full to part-time or benefits reductions, because those are things that are in the purview of the supervisors of compensation boards. So so there's that. There are ways to do it and be cost neutral, but not all of that can be accomplished through
that.
yeah, that would be up to the supervisors. And then the other thing, to free up time that wouldn't necessarily cost any money, and I'm not saying this is a good idea. But there are a number of boards that could legally have representatives from the county that are not county supervisors. But the county has chosen to put supervisors on those committees and boards. If citizens were put on those boards and committees, it would free up time among the supervisors as well. Again, I'm not saying whether that's a good or bad idea. I'm just offering that because it came up.
I think there's some boards that could be utilized very easily on. Yeah.
Okay, anything else on that?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that forward, because like I said, this is something that's gonna take a while, and it's gonna be hard for people to understand, to spend more money, but sometimes.
Homework needs to be done.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing
Yeah,
it.
thanks for yours.
I'm gonna go spend time with 5 grand.
Have fun.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, we got number 8, just anything else? Adam?
No, that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks, Adam.
Have a good day.
Discussion regarding landowner clearing trees from Louisa County FEMA lots and pine drive.
We have any kind of.
Yes.
Hand grab? Okay.
And this is some of more of our great decisions that FEMA buy out some of these lots. County is stuck with a dead lot that we can't turn back over the tax.
So the trees haven't been cleared yet.
No,
Oh, okay. I was under the assumption that
No.
it had been done and we're trying to figure out why.
he was interested in buying these lands and the lots and putting them on tax roll, but we can't sell.
He asked if he could lease them.
And we can do that, as long as you don't build a structure on it and follow the rules.
Right, it's got a deed restriction.
Hey, I was gonna ask, and this is something I think about, is any of these lots available to be leased out for grazing or timber or anything like that? 'Cause we do have some problems, especially up in the north there with abandoned, and I'm like, well, we could be running cattle or sheep or something on that.
And we have 28 farms.
Or planting something on them and, paying some rent to the county on some of those things.
What do we have? I think it's over 500 FEMA. Over 500 FEMA lots that we cannot sell.
What if we put out a rental thing like we do with the conservation ground?
And that just came out recently that we could lease. We had a deal where, down on the island, we had it where we were gonna try sell them, and they said absolutely not. And then after bickering back and forth for a couple of years, they came back and said you can lease, but they have to have stipulations, they cannot build. You can raise
They can-
cattle.
So they could put a structure, one that was portable or
Portable structure.
for livestock.
And you can graze it.
Yes.
And you can put a fence up there.
If you've got a leased, now we got fenced lots that aren't even leased.
We have several pastures. So anyway, yes, we need to look into this because the secondary roads, is responsible for the upkeep. That's what Scott's is.
Hold on. secondary roads.
Well, you have to mow twice a year, Reggie Meyer.
Okay,
So
we
hold on.
do.
But let me explain. So you have to maintain it. And I want to do that. I think it'd be, if we could lease these lots out and people would take care of them, I am 100%.
Well, you're not getting property tax, but you are getting some back out of it.
Well,
Why you wouldn't?
if you leased it from what the tax
Would have been,
revenue would have been, which isn't.
I'd just be happy if they maintained it.
So is this is Hawkeye Woods, is this somebody that has property down there
He is looking at buying,
adjoining?
It looks like.
But he just wanted to clean it up a little bit, is that?
yes,
Is that the
a
deal?
lot of the roadways became tree growth. And
He's thinking of getting I talked to him personally, so he's thinking of getting a U-loader and a timber head, and he says there's a million willow trees about that big around, open it up, let the air flow through, less mosquitoes,
Yeah.
nicer place to look at in time.
Vicky, if we did a bunch of leases, would it be difficult to track that?
I don't think so. I mean, as far as, I think that's more, the leases go through Selena's office, but as far as for property tax, I don't think it would be. Lease like, she takes care of that complex. On the one with, the Chad, yeah, Chad Hayes, yeah.
while we're chewing the fat here, if we leased it, would we have to start paying taxes on it? We would. So there's a backdoor because the county, we came up just within the last 6 months that anytime the county does any ag leases and stuff like that has now becomes into a tax roll. Farming out there at the sheriff's office becomes a tax roll. I think the city having mobile home or RVs onto a non-taxed area becomes a taxed area.
Yeah, but isn't that a win-win for the county?
It
It's
is.
being maintained and you're ready to
But
put it.
It is.
Before my time years ago, that was one of the factors of why we sold the county farm. Which I think was silly.
Mhm. But it also puts strains on your budget because now you're paying out something you didn't pay before. So you're
Not
paying
if you're,
yourself.
not if you're leasing it and getting money on the other end.
But they was-
Pay the
yeah.
taxes.
But the lease used to be used for gain as far as working on stuff, but
I think Chad Hayes paid the taxes on that ground that he's leasing. The county didn't pay it. I'll have to double check that, but I think, no,
We did them.
we paid the taxes.
Yeah.
I think since when he did that, he wrote a check that day, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's
No,
rent
that
lease that they're responsible for that.
So you charge a lease, no, the lease pays the tax.
Yeah, right.
Right, well, or
Money going from the left pocket to the right pocket, what
if
difference?
you'd get
Yeah,
a
well,
lease
so, yeah,
for
you
$50
take
a
care of it.
lot down there, you'd at least. Get it back on the tax rolls,
so it does put
or
a
generate more than it's ever generated.
If you use it, but you're leasing it, then it's ground is being used for something, so it has.
I'm all
has to
for
pay
it.
on
It's just something we've never done in this county, and most counties didn't, but we did it and checked into it, found out we was doing it wrong, and so is every other county in the state. But it's changing, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's a little bit of a problem though, like Hawkeye Woods, I'll use this for example. That's cabin sites. Now, you're not gonna build a cabin, but that don't mean you can't bring a camper in. So one guy wants to lease it all. You're gonna make somebody else unhappy.
Well, it's not usable at all.
Well, I don't,
Well, no, it isn't, but do you put it up for bids and say this is a minimum bid? Or something like that, so you give everybody a chance?
I think anybody can fix it.
Well- But I'm just saying, a good old boy club.
It'll have to be, it's public assets, it'll have to be
We
a
have to have-
public procedure,
You have to
just
have a
like.
public meeting.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and it won't be a.
We don't do the handshakes behind the table, but we have to have everything out front.
I don't know, I'm not behind that table, so I don't know whether you do or not.
At a table
I
behind.
don't know why
me.
you don't do it per parcel, just put each parcel up.
Well, the ground that was rented that has been mentioned, it was put in the paper 2 or 3 times to rent it. We had one, maybe 2 people. No, we just had one person bid on it, and
You know, I try to read the paper every week, but there's some fine print in there that I don't see on the back page, or somebody else will tell me about it. I'm sorry, but that paper, you know, again, a website would be nice, you know, or something like that. But
I think we pick a few of these spots out, maybe not this particular Hawkeye Woods,
I
but
agree.
pick some out and use it as a trial run and see what happens.
And look at even Reggie's old place down there, Rick Myers, that's, what is there, 75 empty.
There's a lot of-
Can we get a list of all those properties? Or can I get a list, I guess? Then we can pick and
Report.
then we can choose which ones we want to try and try a half a dozen of
Put
them.
them all
Well,
Like
Do it all in one.
I
We
don't
need to
mind
get
doing that, but
senators involved so you can
Sell
sell them, yeah, so they can change them.
Yeah,
I agree.
Be able to sell.
in the meantime, let's at least rent them.
Well,
then if we can
okay,
get to that
then
point, let's
you
do that.
try to buy them, Brian, you make numerous phone calls to Homeland Security. And you just, after about a month, you get tired of the runaround and well, let's work on
They
our
change
next
the
year.
Till they change the law, or you, and of course, they're gonna stipulate there'll be no more fee money spent on it, I'm sure, you know, they did it once, they're not gonna, you know, let you sell it.
And
Somebody-
then do it again.
somebody-
6 years ago, we had a community out of Missouri came up here to a meeting and we told them, do not let FEMA come in and buy a single property in their community because of floods, and they did that. They did not let FEMA come in, and talking to them one time since then, that was a success because they was able to sell it was a one time, maybe. You know,
It was a flash flood like that. Spencer, the whole town got flooded.
but this is Scrooge's County.
And then
If you
So-
take our properties and what we lost in housing and taxes, it's millions of dollars that we'll never get back. And FEMA did it to us, our own government's done it to us.
If you lease that property, can they remove brush and trees then to lease?
We want them to do that.
Maintain.
Well, I mean, can they do that legally? You absolutely without leasing. it.
They just can't build anything permanent on it.
Let's get back to the task at hand here on this particular one we got off
Yeah.
track a little bit. I don't have a problem with him cleaning the property.
Yeah, he would like to buy more of these association properties that are highlighted on this.
Well, this particular one, it's just this one lot
But,
as
yeah.
far as I can see.
But he'd like to do. You know, there's 2 lots to the north and maybe 2 lots to the east. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd like. To trim brush on them to make his lot. Better or more appealing.
Before he goes to all this problem, should we have a public, to give him that opportunity to public meeting?
Yeah, cause it's public ground, it's not our ground.
And then have a discussion and then look at possible lease, because there's got to be. But I think we ought to start that. This stuff
It's
is
a
just
good-
given,
It's a good stepping stone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
the public needs it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, good idea.
So can we, pick a time when we can start doing a public meeting on this type of thing? What date would you?
I'd have to put it in the paper and it's 10 days.
It's, before doing this, would we want to talk to them and see what lots, we don't have to keep redoing this? Maybe do, cause when he talked to me, he wanted several lots.
He wanted to
I think
approve,
we-
he didn't want them.
I think.
He said he might.
Well, yeah, he mentioned lease.
Yeah. So maybe do everything in Hawkeye Woods. That way you don't have to keep redoing this. And if there's other people come forward, there's plenty of lots. I just hate to see us do one lot and then 3 weeks later do another lot.
How long are you gonna keep the leases for?
We'd have to get legal on that. I'm not
If you
sure.
get them too long, they're gonna start putting stuff on them that, then we're gonna have to start policing that. But if you
Yeah,
do the lease
we'll
every
police
couple of
that.
years, they're not gonna be able to. You know what I mean?
Is somebody gonna go down every so often, make sure they're not building?
Well, that would be the accessories.
Here we go.
And you can't leave a travel trailer sit there for more than 9 months, or then you have to start taxing it as
Is
a
it
part.
ours? It's not.
It was 90 days before.
Yeah.
I'll go look at the code, but it's either 6 or 9
And I
months.
agree with you, we
And,
don't need to have.
you know,
them
so
surveyed
they-
12 months a
We're
year.
gonna start
Looking at-
doing this.
You're gonna be looking at another pop's paradise with, we're having that issue anyway.
Mhm, mhm.
I'll get a hold of Adam, just after the meeting and.
Well, good thing about down there is Mother Nature will clean it out about every 9 months.
Goes down to Oakville. Yeah, right, in a hurry.
Yeah, for leasing for firewood, yeah.
We'll put that on the agenda next week after talking to legal, okay?
All right. Very good.
Okay. Kurt.
Just in time.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, it's Adam.
No, I'm Kurt.
What?
9:15,
Oh, 9 o'clock.
I just stepped out because I thought you might be ready. I can pull the chair. That's fine.
well, yeah, well, good.
I can do mine quick, so.
Okay, what is yours?
No big deal, so.
I'm not running the meetings anymore, so.
Aren't you running the meeting?
No.
Aren't you
No.
Chair?
No.
Okay. As everybody knows, there's a little bit of flooding, going on. We've got our usual suspects, east of Wapello and south that are underwater. Got some issues up on the island there. We did put in a relief pipe about a week ago, and it is flowing full, so. Water's flowing downhill. There was a question about the grass and the ditch there on X61. Looking at the pipes and all that, I don't think that's a problem. I think after there, it goes through the drainage district, and I went down to the end, and there's really not a lot of water flowing into the drainage district, so. Kind of outside of our.
Don't look like any water is flowing to the drains.
It'd be nice if right down here, some people could clean the drainage district portion out, and that would really allow it, and then we can make improvements upstream. As you guys know, we have improved the piping there and all that, and they are flowing full, and water is going. Probably not gonna get over the road this time. I look back and we had about the same water levels in 2023. 2019, the water Mississippi was 4 feet higher, so if that happened again, I mean, we could probably be pushing it there for sure, so. Other than that, where we're out, doing a little bit of ditching, we've been wet, so we haven't been able to do a lot of that. Getting back into some rock hauling and blading and mowing and things like that now, so. I did get our end of the year numbers and budget and all that. We were well within budget, and actually got a little more revenue than expected, so. I'll probably bring that to you in a couple weeks, when everything is all through. I do have to do an annual report here in August, so I'll get that. But things are going well there, financially, I guess, so we're, got that part figured out, just trying to figure out what to do with less staff and what to focus on, I guess, so. Other than that, not a lot else going on. I'm going to Ames next couple days for the county engineers, summer meetings, so. Learn about that. There's always DOT fights going on and research and things like that, so. It's interesting, so. Any questions for me? Anything going on, or?
Road closed Newport, didn't it?
Yep, it's closed, detour's up and running. I did have some questions from some people about the signage on 61, and the DOT told me that they aren't gonna do anything out there other than closing the road, and said that we're free to go and put signs out on Highway 61. And I said, well, it's not our road closure, so we're gonna take care. We've got detour signage on our route, and I drove it this morning, there were 8 cars on it, so apparently the locals have found it, and that's about what I expected.
You need to run it up the flagpole of the DOT.
I brought it up, and it says they say it's not in their standards to do it. So,
It's our road, but they closed it.
yep.
But so it's not their problem, it's our problem.
So
Talking to the friends to the south, pretty much the same as what was done on Minneapolis Road. The county really didn't do anything on 61 and it was okay, so that's kind of what I'm.
Well, usually, like if you was to head towards Newport right now, there'd be a sign at. Is it 40th Street, the detour ahead, you might want to turn here, there's nothing like that.
No.
Or from the other direction, and you just. I've had comments that way. I
Just
mean,
call them. Yeah, I think the locals will find it. I do worry about some of the over the road guys, you know, with closures on that and closures down in Des Moines County.
Surely no trucks goes down that road, do they, or any
I don't
traffic?
know.
Yeah.
You know, I have a complaint. Or some questions, well, why weren't these things all coordinated, and I told them the DOT road closure I didn't know about until June.
right,
And Des Moines County using our COVID funds, and that they have to get that done like now. To get that spent, so.
the bridge.
You know, so it is what it is, and.
When's the Des Moines County bridge gonna be done, do you know?
September, October, things like that, so.
Hopefully.
If that, you know, I mean, the. Contractors haven't sped up at all, so it could be, later in the fall.
Well, they've had some weather delays.
The last 2
Needed
weeks,
to be done anyway.
you know, the biggest, once that's done, then the route to Meekers for them is gonna be open for overweight loads. The only drawback will be ours, so. But that's in the plan, so.
Mhm.
Highway 92 update.
I mean, I need to update, actually I have the meetings at 9 o'clock, I've got my 2 assistants up there at the meeting. Acting on our behalf. They are ripping up pavement there west of Neely's and a bunch of that. They are hauling dirt and doing a bunch of work. I have heard it is slow. I have not been given a official, we're a week behind or a month behind or anything like that, so. As far as I know, the plan is to have that open. By the end of October. I am very skeptical of that, but again, it's not my project, so I can't do anything about it, so.
Yeah, rains every 3 days.
And yeah, it is, it rains a lot.
Have you had an update on the levee project up at Muscatine?
I am on the email chain for that, and I believe they got all the sand hauled on the new. Section 2, which is at Moss's Corner there, right, the. Thinking there is if the water were to ever get above that level, it would go in this little trough and run back in. I believe the sand's all placed. And they're working on the grid and things like that. I believe there's a limit if river gets to 21.5, they cannot work.
Okay.
And I think it's supposed to get like 21.42, so it's like 21.24 now and 21.42, so I believe they're gonna keep working as much as they can. Obviously, they got, you know, it's a little more difficult, but I think everybody there wants to keep it working, so. I haven't had any real problems with them. There was a couple times when they were tracking mud out in the road, and I emailed that Josh and it got cleaned up, so. As far as I know, they've been pretty good here, so.
Anything?
I haven't heard anything about it. I look at it, I don't want it to drain downhill to me. What are you gonna do in the morning?
Anything else, guys?
Good.
Hey,
All right, guys.
Like the girls you
Very good.
Well, have any questions? You can forward them, so.
You bet.
Thanks, guys.
I can, if you'd like, go later, because I do have a bit more to talk about than. Let's do it right now, okay.
Thank you.
We'll start with the update. With being the new fiscal year.
Pretty quick, pretty easy. I apologize for not making last month, had to take my wife to the emergency room. Now she has a surgery following that, so. So basically double the number of visits since I wasn't able to talk to you last month. We're approaching that 300,000 monthly awards for our veterans. The budget update, I've basically spent no money just yet. Looking at replacing some grave markers because I've had quite a few that have gone out the last few months, and ordering new flags, and then needed to order some shirts for our new commissioner once he gets sworn in. Care center, no changes since last month. I haven't provided any money to veterans for assistance yet. Waiting for travel and training, for guidance on what they want to see us do or attend. And it will be funded, the national level training, which I'm not planning on going to it. I'll do it virtually. But I'll still have some fees associated with it, more hours and whatnot. But that will come out of the additional $3,000 that the state has given us going forward each year. Van update, I did have one that called in late on a Thursday for a ride first thing Monday, and my volunteers are volunteers. I told them that I don't think I would be able to resource it. The fact that it was right before the holiday and everything else, that I turned them back to getting a ride from the hospital itself. I haven't heard anything about that since then. Outreach, I'm going to attend the rodeo at least one of the 2 nights. Set up some stuff, coordinating with Val for free tickets for veterans. That has been that offer has graciously been extended to our surrounding counties, trying to get those folks to come in as well. The fall appreciation meal, October, but that's 90 days from now. So it's not, you think it's far, but it's not. I'm looking at going with the Sal's change up in menu, and still working on guest speakers. We had 5 applicants for the position for the new commissioner. Interviewed 2 of them. The commission chose Mark Spitznagel, and we'd like a time from you guys to see when we could swear him in so he could actually start. He's been attending just as a private citizen because our meetings are open, but we'd like to get him on board as soon as possible. So whenever you tell me, I'll let him know, and he'll come in and take the oath. Next week.
I'll get with you with the time, okay?
Yes, ma'am. One of the 2 things I gave you was the updated or proposed soldier relief application. I highlighted in yellow the 3 changes that we are putting forward. One is showing the veteran needs to show us that they're registered with workforce. The intent for the changes is not just to provide assistance, but to get them back on their feet. And some people need more of a lift to do that. And so we're trying to get that to them. So that shows that they're applying, registered with workforce. And then also the decision from Department of Human Services that they've applied for all state and federal benefits. And then you go towards the back of the stable packet, and it shows that the first month it's there for them with not a lot of questions asked. Second month hey, have you applied for state and federal assistance? If you have and it hasn't come in yet, okay, we'll help you, but if you're getting state and federal, we're cutting ourselves off. And the third month is if they applied and they were denied, but they still meet the financial requirements to provide assistance, and they're capped at 3 months each fiscal year. So pending your approval of that, that's what we'll go forward with from now on. And the last packet that is paper clipped is the part on increasing the amount of hours for the office. I did a fair bit of work on this. Most of the time I spent was my own. I didn't take time from the office to do it. I thought that would be counterproductive. So the first thing I asked Adam Caldwell, I said, what's the truth? What really, how many hours did you work in here or with veterans? And he told me 25. Talking to his wife in Muscatine County, they said, no, he was probably there 30 hours or more. If you look at, you can go over the slides yourselves. The one that with the details is really that last one with the spreadsheet. It shows that I compared apples to apples, or tried to. So counties that were within 10% of our population, and that extrapolates, we have 500 citizens, veterans. 10% of that, 450 to 550 for all these counties. We're open 20 hours officially, and that's what I'm paid. There are counties on there that have 2 employees at 44 hours. Those are on the larger county size, and the law says we are required to provide a minimum of 20 hours. And I hate to look at it and think that, well, we're just providing the minimum, but we are. Because these counties fall under that minimum 20 hours as well. The cutoff is 30,000 residents to go to 30 hours minimum. But even I've been trying to keep to 20 hours, especially the last couple months, and it's near impossible to get everything done. It is impossible to get everything done within 20 hours and to be here for the veterans when they need me. I'm trying to meet your guidance of being paid for 20 hours. So to me, that's not really turning into comp time, because comp time, it equates to more of a budget, more of a salary. And so I'm not turning in hours, which I just thought it was volunteer. Turns out it's illegal. If I'm working, I'm supposed to be paid. I'm still gonna probably go forward and do that. Just because I'm not, while this may seem like I'm creating waves, I'm not gonna legally create waves. I wanna do what I can for the veterans, but at the same time, I feel I should be compensated, and we should be providing the same level that other counties are providing. We're dollar figure, we're talking $7,000, $8,000 to go to 25 hours. The 20%, 25% increase in amount of time. So I know that I should have done this in March, when it's really came up in March. There were lots of problems going on with the budget in March. I was also asked to turn around and cut my budget in March. So that's why you didn't see it in March. Any questions? Okay.
No, thank you.
Of the slide sheet.
Thanks, Kurt.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, sir.
Oh, Okay, first of all, we have started mosquito collection, so once we do have the traps out, fun times. We're getting bit up, there's mosquitoes out there. The blue flyer that I handed you guys, that is our new flyer, we're partnering with Muscatine County, they're gonna come in once a month during our clinic time. And provide additional services, it's beginning this Thursday. So the additional services are lead testing, developmental screenings, dental services, and maternal health services. We're asking people to make appointments. They're coming either way, but we are asking people to make appointments. There is a little bit of criteria on who's eligible for those services, and Brandy has that all at her desk. So when they call, we can kind of run through the criteria, make sure that people are coming for what they need. We did, we've posted flyers on our Facebook page, on our website, we've put some out around the community, both in Spanish and English. So you guys to be aware about it.
Blood testing, they go into homes.
No, the lead testing is for children, it's a requirement for
Oh, to
kindergarten.
see if they consume.
Yeah. So any parents are, interested in these services, Muscatine already provides them at their county, but it's something that we don't do, so we're wanting to help get more of that in our county, so. I also give you guys a copy of our July newsletter. I have a lot to say about it, just something new we started last month, I think I brought it to you last month too, but just so you guys see that. The state HHS has recently started doing what they're calling public health office hours. So public health administrators can get on there. They talk a lot about the alignment process and just trying to give us places to ask questions. So I was just on the first one last week. The biggest takeaway for me was they kept reiterating that there will be a public health presence in every county. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know what legislation is gonna be on that in a couple of years, but that is their still plan, is there will still be public health.
They were asking you for suggestions or?
Yes, there's always feedback. They put out surveys a lot, so I do try to get on those whenever they come out. There's also a national public health wins survey that's coming out, and that's about employment. I did sign up to be a part of that. So everybody in our office will take that survey when it becomes available, I believe in September. It's anonymous, so anybody in our public health workforce takes it. There's their answers to the questions I cannot see them. What they'll do is they'll group small public health in a big regional group, and then I can see the data. Basically, it's just strengthening our public health workforce, seeing what things the employees think that public health needs. So I'm kind of excited to see what the data will look like to that. I know they started it last year with bigger agencies. So this year they're letting all of the small ones be a part of it.
Does Isaac represent you guys? Is anybody, you have a group out of Des Moines from Isaac that represents you? Argue some of your concerns?
I believe there's been a lot brought up lately about making sure that HHS is a presence at those meetings to everybody's on the same page of what's happening.
Besides Des Moines?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I do believe there is stuff coming through that.
Do we know if we have ISAC as a representative for public health? See, we have pretty much a voice in every department. Supervisors have a voice.
Okay.
Treasurer has a voice, auditors have a voice in Des Moines,
Okay.
and it's through ISAC, and that's what ISAC is supposed to do, is represent the public communities, the counties, so 99 counties. And I didn't know if you had somebody that can actually maybe teach some of the people making these decisions that they're gonna take by mental health.
I believe there is representation. I can find out exactly who and how that happens, but I kind of get the impression that there is representation. The only other thing I had for you is, we do still have a nurse opening, and I also want you to be aware that there have been times I have had to lock the door because I am out away from the desk doing visits. I'm trying to limit that as much as possible, but just so you're aware, we do put up notes and post, and I try to get the door back open as soon as possible.
Does there, to have that door open, with Brandy there, does it have, you have to have an RN there?
No, it just sometimes like if she has to be away at a doctor's appointment and we have
Gotcha.
home health visits, I mean,
When
patients
there's
have to
nobody in
be,
the office,
yeah,
gotcha.
when there's nobody in the office. If I have an aide to even answer phones and have the door open, I do have somebody there if I can, but I am trying to limit that, but
Thank you.
I just want you to be aware.
We have a meeting this afternoon,
No, we decided not to have it. in July.
because of July, that's right.
Thank you so much.
I did have a couple of requests for crutches and I think one walker, and I sent them your direction. I'm assuming that they got
Yeah,
taken care of.
yeah, so, yeah.
They called and asked. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just email you? Oh, you don't. There you go.
Rick, you got anybody else coming in? No. Okay, let's go ahead and do the 9:45. Vicky?
I'm only here informational. Rick's the one that is wanting to, I think he wrote you a letter. About
Yeah, we got,
what he was, requiring and requesting what he would pay.
And we've seen the pictures.
I told him that might be a good idea to show you what he's dealing with and give you the idea of what he's wanting to do. So if you have questions about the taxes and what he's wanting to have without that.
so from the letter, from what I read, he's willing to pay the taxes. He just wants the penalties and interest waived. Do we have a total?
Right on the front page there, the handwritten numbers there, I think it's $2,054.
Yeah,
By each year, there's a dollar amount written there.
That's
That's the base tax for each of those
Okay,
years.
so
Yeah,
totals
2,000.
tax paid will be $2,054.
That'll be the base tax for all the years. that are-
What's the penalties that we're gonna forgive? Do you know?
Well,
Is that-
let's see.
Got the number off to the side?
No,
Right at the very top of 3277.
probably. My copy is from before he paid the one, because there were two tax sales on this property, one he paid off. So my total has that included in it. Give me just a second.
Right there.
Oh, okay.
Total last.
Oh, okay, I see it. So you've
You're
assumed,
looking at around $1,200.
you've assumed the
$1,200.
property, you bought it.
And that's
I'd like to
also the
know-
pictures we got today too.
Yeah,
I'd like to know a legal way of getting, the gentleman to the south of it. That owns, the Ludwig's old place.
Oh, okay.
He's running goats on it, they've been on it, they've been on my property and, you know, I've got all my stuff cleaned up and I mow it every week and everything, and every time you go by there's goats. It's a mess. Well, so what do I gotta do to get him off of there?
Go to your township trustees and get a fence built, which is a long process.
yeah, you could try it politely first and ask him.
Can I take a deputy with me and go to the door and?
You can call and ask them if they have a deputy in the area if you feel threatened, of course.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's a civil matter probably,
Yeah.
but
I wanna take a traco in there and there's a house on it. a Couple buildings that the goats are running through.
you might tell him, say, listen, I got equipment up here and there's, if your goats are running over here, there's.
They're gonna be in the hole with the
Yeah.
house.
Well, I don't know if I'd put it quite that way, but you could if you want, I. Try to
I'd
attract.
just like to do it the proper way, so I don't wanna get in trouble.
Nobody wants
But I
that.
wanna clean it up, it's a big eyesore, it's been that way for years.
Yeah, your pictures. So,
Yeah. I'm okay with the waiving the penalties interest if he pays the base tax. I don't have a problem with that. Yes, that is a motion.
and I'll second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Before I vote, Rick is absolutely no family of mine.
Yeah.
No,
Because of the last name. So I'm gonna vote A also, yes, also.
All in favor then?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Can I go there?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for doing
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks.
yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Beck.
Yeah, no problem.
Here is the treasurer's quarterly report.
We got an ambulance.
And I handed it,
No, this is the recorder.
or recorders I meant now. And there's the auditors, and we gotta crack the whip, get them some more flat.
You wanna do number 12, correct?
Well, yeah, you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's going back to the land acquisition fund or whatever the heck we call that.
I'll make a motion, we sign. Resolution 2024-23 for the second installment of $40,000 to be transferred. From Conservation Land Acquisition Fund to Capital Improvement Fund.
I'll second that.
Discussion. I have a question. Was that a loan to the Conservation Commission?
Yes,
What was the county attorney's opinion on that?
he weighed in on it. I mean, county attorney was very much involved with the land acquisition.
What was his recommendation?
I cannot remember.
Okay.
So we've got the 60-some $1,000 we gave to the conservation last week. And then 40 of that is coming back to reimburse this account that.
Right,
Right.
it's going from your land acquisition.
To back to the,
It just got renamed to capital.
yeah, right, it
Improvement
used to
Fund.
be the county home fund or
Yeah.
whatever, and now it's called capital improvement fund.
How much was left on that loan?
A
It was
lot,
375,000 minus 80.
a lot.
It's a
It was roughly, it's a 12 years or 11.
no, just 10, a little less than 10
It's gonna be
years.
a while.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, you guys, let's do number 14, I think. That's the one, yep, let's see. Can you
Have
do
that.
that motion,
14,
please?
I'll make a motion to approve the fourth quarter auditor and recorder's report.
I'll second that.
Okay, we end the discussion. I have a question. Tammy, so when you collect this money, I see. Unfortunately, the large share goes to the state and we get the little amount. I wish it was switched, but. Does that go every month? How does that,
Yes.
every month it gets, okay. This is just the year end part of it,
Quarterly.
quarterly, I'm sorry, yeah, quarterly.
But it goes monthly.
Yeah.
Collected 52,000, the state come and grab their 37,000, so we got. So we got 12,000 to pay to employees for a quarter. That don't work.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Morning Sun Ambulance, everybody gets nice.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Did a lot of runs for,
Yeah, 12. 60 for the year.
if that, I'll make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
overtime, dude. You been on overtime, or what?
They could pay.